49 finished objects. Let's see how much I remember. Let's talk about my top 10 makes of 2023. Hello, my name is Emily Crow from Crochet Creations and welcome to my YouTube channel and welcome to Vlogmas. I do not have any idea anymore what day this is going to be because right now I'm just trying to pump out videos and this week is a really tricky week for me. I work full-time as a nurse and I worked a 12-hour day yesterday. I have training all day tomorrow and then I work 3 night shifts in a row and then I have 1 day off and then I work a day shift. So that 1 day off is only really like half a day, I feel like. Anyway, it's just like I have a really rough week ahead of me. I just wanted something simple and chill and easy, and I wanted to share with you guys my top 10 makes that I made in 2023. I went back through and I actually counted. I currently have 49 finished objects for 2023, which considering I started working full-time again and we recently bought a house, so there's lots to be done and I have a toddler at home. Like, life is just chaotic. I'm amazed that I finished 49 things this year. And hopefully I'll take off another couple before the end of the month. Maybe in January I'll come out with a video where I talk about everything I made in 2023. We'll see. But I think I'll need a little bit of a break after Vlogmas. But I want to share with you my top 10 things that I made this past year. And I'm going to start with number 10, move up to number 1. And it was really hard to narrow it down to just 10 things. But I'll let you know why I picked these items and why I placed them in the spot that I placed them. Because for each one, it's a little bit different. There's some that I feel like the yarn and pattern were a perfect match and it was such a joy to work on. There were some that were just really fun to knit or were perfect to make at that time in my life. There were some that just in their usage, they've brought so much joy and I've used them a lot or someone else has used them a lot. There's a large variety of like why these projects are in my top 10. So I will explain that to you. So let's get right into it and let's see how much I remember about these projects too, looking back over the year. In the top 10 spot for this year's makes, I have these journey socks. This pattern is by Heidi and Lana. Oh my gosh, I should really just, hold on. Oh my gosh, I was right. What? I can't believe I was right. These are the journey socks designed by Heidi and Lana. They are a shorty sock and I use some self-striping yarn. This is Vista Dyeworks in the color Hydrangeas. This specific pattern is a little bit different. I made 2 pairs of journey socks in February and 2 pairs in March. And this is one of my March pairs. And I gave the other one to my sister-in-law. This one in particular is my favorite because after making 3 other pairs, this one was like the best fitting for me and I really love the colors. And I was just wearing this literally the other day and so it's a little bit like got some stuff on it. We're like repainting the kitchen and so the house is a little bit messy. Anyway, these socks probably need to be washed, but I'm filming this video now, so this is what you're getting. But I made some small modifications. I think what I did was I lengthened this portion of the sock so that the point where the sock joins up was lower down on my foot rather than being closer to my ankle where my foot is thicker, and it was a little bit too tight on some other sock iterations. And I can't remember other modifications I did. I think that was like the big one. I think I also made the heel flap a little bit deeper. It's still not like a perfect fit, but this is the best fitting sock. And when I was wearing them earlier this week, I realized I really like socks that fit like this. So I definitely want to make more. I have plenty of sock yarn scraps. I guess this made it on the list because I decided to wear it this week and I realized how much I really do like these socks. Most of the time I wear knit socks to keep my feet cozy, but for these, they're just to be cute. And I think I need more socks just to be cute, even when maybe it's too warm to wear cozy knit socks. All right, in the number 9 spot, we have the Sunday morning socks cuff down by Carlie Perrins of Northwoods Knit Co. And I tested these socks for her. I also am currently wearing these socks because they match my sweater that I'm wearing. They are so cozy. Look at that beautiful waffle stitch texture. This yarn is from Coast to Coast Yarn Co. And the colors are Loyal Companion and Unexpected Friendship. I love this yarn like so much, and I needed the perfect pattern. I think the match of the pattern and the yarn is perfect in this. I love it. It was a little bit of a slower knit for me, maybe because the testing deadline was a little bit quick and I had felt like I had a lot of other things on my plate, and so it was a little bit stressful to work on these, but now I love these socks. They're so cozy. like I said, I'm wearing them today because I love them. I don't know if there's anything else for me to say about that, other than I really love Carlie's patterns in general, and I have one other pattern that I made this year by her that is on this list. This one's a little lower down because the actual process of knitting it was not the most fun, but I didn't necessarily dislike it. I just think it would have been better if I made it in my leisure rather than for a testing deadline, if that makes sense. In our number 8 spot, we have the Perfectionist Trap by Kacey Knits. But this yarn I used is Kimber's Cozy Creation in the colorway Unicorn Dreams 2.0. Look at that, so colorful. Like from far away, it's definitely just like a purple variegated, but you can see there's purple, different shades of pink. There's even like teal and blue in there. So it's really a beautiful colorway and it was such a joy to knit up. This pattern, oh, there is a front. I'm so silly. This pattern is mostly garter stitch and has these slip stitches running throughout in columns. It's a little bit harder to see on a variegated yarn like this, but this pattern looks good on a variegated yarn, on a striping yarn, on a solid, on a tonal. Like it looks good in every iteration I've ever seen. And it was such a joy to knit. It was so relaxing. And it wasn't necessarily like just mindless garter stitch forever because you had it broken up with these slip stitches. And after so many rows, you'd add another slip stitch column. So it was easy to make. It was perfect for when I was making it. I was kind of overwhelmed with work stuff. So this was a really nice project that I could just work on while I was reading on my Kindle, that I could work on while I was watching TV, that could take as long as it needed to. I didn't work through this super fast either. It was just kind of a constant project for a long time, for a couple months, I think, even though I could have finished it faster just because this was a nice like security project to work on. My emotional support project, if you will, for the middle of this year. And the color is beautiful. This pattern was perfect. I'm gonna make this pattern again, I think. All good things with this pattern. I'm not like very much of a shawl wearer though. I kind of missed the shawl wearing time in the spring, and the fall happened like really quick. Now we're like in the cold, and so I just wear my big bulky coat, but I could definitely wear this for this winter time and enjoy a little bit of brightness. All right, spot number 7. This goes to the Athenaeum socks by Roro and Cade's Kelly Menzies, and I tested this pattern for her, though I did not test the size. I tested the size for my toddler. I've yet to get my toddler to wear them and let me take a picture of her wearing them. You can see they're a little stretched out. I have worn these recently, so that's kind of a common theme with all the socks that I loved this year. This yarn is from Yarn of Alexandria. Let me check it. This yarn is Alexandra, the Art of Yarn in the colorway Silverton. It's the local yarn store day colorway from 2019 that was at Wasatch and Wool. I purchased it there over this summer during my Utah Yarn Crawl vlog. I'll link it up above. But this color is beautiful with this like lavender. There's like these darker blue and purple specks, like an indigo maybe. So pretty. I love this yarn. I made the pair for my daughter and I immediately cast on a pair for me because I loved knitting this pattern so much and I loved this yarn so much. You'll see that there's like this really cool like ribbed texture split up with some garter bumps. That rib texture is also carried into the heel flap, which is really unique. And I really loved how this pattern doesn't look difficult. It looks like people could replicate it, but there are so many details within the pattern that Kelly wrote that just show how good of a designer she is and how thoughtful she was in the construction of the sock. It wasn't something that she just whipped up in like an afternoon. I really love this pattern. It's a very well written pattern and I highly recommend. It was so fun to knit, and I have my pair. My daughter has her pair that she doesn't wear because she doesn't like to wear socks. These socks are actually clean and have not been sitting in my pile of knits to clean. I blocked them recently, I think, but this is another pair of socks I test knit for Northwoods Knit Co. And this isn't the only other pair. I have another pair that did not make this list. At least one pair that I can think of at least that did not make this list. But these are the Hearth socks. I knit them in Red Door Fibre Studio. And I can't remember the colorway. These are the Hearth socks by, like I said, Carlie Perrins, and I use the Found Family sock set from Red Door Fibre Studio. I love this base. This was my first time working with Kate's yarn, and it was amazing. Like, I do not know what made this different, but it was such an amazing knitting experience. The tension, I feel like it just worked with my knitting in that it felt so smooth and easy to knit this and to have such a good tension. I love these colors. I love purple. So beautiful. This texture is really cool. I liked that it was stockinette on the back, so you got a little break, but there's like purl bumps, there's cables, there's twisted stitches. So this was just like a really fun pattern to knit up. Like I said, another great matchup of yarn to pattern. I had a new experience with this yarn and it was amazing to knit with. So highly recommend the pattern, the yarn, all of it. In the number 5 spot is a pattern that I designed. This is the Shark Bite socks in the knit version specifically. It is a toe-up sock pattern, so that was pretty new for me. I've knit a few pairs of toe-up socks, but not a lot. I'm currently knitting a pair of toe-up socks actually, which is fun. And I'm using this base pattern that I came up with to help me make those socks that I'm currently working on, which is really nice. But a little different. There's a round toe, which is a very different fit. I like how there's this cascading, like fading teeth detail, almost this fun color work that I did. This is just a really fun pattern to come up with. And I have a crochet version as well. I will talk about it later. This one has the number 5 spot because I'm really proud of this design. It was featured in Knitty Natty's Sock Week this year. And so that was like a huge endeavor. And it was so much work in like May and June to make this happen. But I'm so proud of myself. And I really do enjoy this sock pattern and I like how it fits me. And especially as a toe-up sock pattern, it's really special to me because I don't make a lot of toe-up socks. So having this gusset in the heel flap, I'm so happy with it. This is the number 4 spot, and I think this is our last pair of socks in this video. I have made a lot of socks this year because they're nice and portable. They're easy to take to work. So if I'm gonna work on something on a night shift when my patients are sleeping, or like on the train, I would take the train sometimes, especially earlier this year, at least for part of the way, or in a meeting or class or something for work, like all great spots to work on something small and portable, aka a sock. And I don't know, I was just drawn to socks, so I'm a little burnt out on socks. I in general really love knitting socks. And so there are lots of socks in my list of finished objects this year. There are a lot of socks on this list as well. This sock is the Comfy Cacti sock by Emma Janet. This is a little bit different. I followed her pattern for the colorwork portion. I did my own vanilla sock for the rest of it, so it doesn't match her socks exactly. But this was another Vista Dyeworks project this year. I did the monthly sock club, and this was, I think, my August entry. I was getting really sick of striped socks. I wanted to do something different. I thought it might be fun to do color work with the mini skein, and I thought, what if I do cactuses? Because this colorway is called Abstract Cacti. And I found this pattern by Emma and I was like, that's perfect. That's exactly what I want. And you literally could not have planned this out better. I just started where my skein started. And then when it got to the green, I was like, okay, I guess now it's time to do the cacti because the contrast is strong enough. And so then I did the cacti, and then at the very bottom it turned to brown, so it looks like the cacti are literally in the dirt. I don't know, it's just like perfect placement, and I did not plan it at all. It just worked out perfectly. Like, this sock set was meant to be this pattern. Clearly, it was very meant to be. And so this project is way up here on the list because it was exactly what I needed. I was trying to find something that would fit the bill, and I found something perfect. The placement of the color work with the striping is like immaculate. Like, I could not have planned it at all. It's amazing. I love these colors. I love this pattern. I'm so happy that I did this. It was out of my comfort zone to do color work with a self-striping yarn, but I definitely want to do it again. We are getting into the top 3 things that I made this year, and these are all the top 3 because they have been the most used in my household of all the things that I've made this year. Like, they've seen so much wear, have brought a lot of joy into our home. And so while I love the process of knitting, having a great knitting product that I can use in my life or that my loved ones can use is also amazing. It feels even better than having a great time at making the item is seeing it put to really good use and getting loved the way that you love the person who you gave it to. Number 3 is the Wonderland hat, and specifically this version of my Wonderland hat. I will put up a picture. I don't really want to put it on my head. I'm so sorry, but like I've got a claw clip, but I'll put pictures up so you can see. I designed this pattern and it came out in January of this year. And in January, I literally made 4 of these hats. I like went wild. I had such a fun time crocheting them. It is a crochet pattern. It's got half double crochet, just a nice simple fitted beanie. And then it's got this fold up brim with this really cool texture that I used in my Wonderland sweater. And it makes it nice and cozy to have over your ears. But this version is my fitted version. I have 2 fits written within the pattern, the fitted and the slouchy version, because the hat is meant to be worn with the brim up. But if you make the fitted version and then you pull the brim down, which is not what the pattern is written as, now you have a slouchy hat, the brim down. So it's just not like doubled up thick, but you get the same like slouchy fit. That blew my mind when someone told me that. And so this hat gets so much wear. I leave it in my work bag and I've been wearing it very frequently to go into work. I just love the color. It's this pretty tweedy base. It's from, I think, Homestead yarns. And I didn't include notes in my podcasts about it because I made 4 hats. And so that was a lot to take notes on. I think it's Homestead Tweed. Plymouth yarn, Homestead Tweed. I am almost positive that's what it is. Wow, I can't believe I remember that. But anyway, I love this yarn. It was really fun to crochet. I love the color. This pattern is perfect for my lifestyle and I'm just really proud of this design. It just blossomed in my brain and came to life, and it feels really good when that happens with a pattern. Some patterns are a lot of toil, but this pattern was not. It was a joy to make. All right, number 2, and this is the only gift knit on my list because I really do a lot of knitting for myself, a little bit for my daughter, but like I said, she's recently not liked wearing socks, and so it's just a waste to make her socks, especially because she grows so fast. My husband, he is very knitworthy. I've made him a few pairs of socks. He doesn't really like too many accessories for the winter time or anything. And knitting something big is kind of a big commitment, but I knit him this cardigan. I don't even think I have a picture of him wearing it. This cardigan is called Viking by Martin Storey. You'll see this cool texture. It's almost like different squares of like cable and stockinette kind of alternating, kind of patchwork style. And I finished this in August for my husband's birthday. I started it last December, so it was a huge labor of love. And I didn't actually finish all the finishing of like weaving in ends, attaching buttons until September. So it was a long process. I am so happy with how this turned out. I love my husband. He wanted a sweater. He has a couple knit sweaters that are store-bought and not ideal. And so he thought it would be great if I ever get around to knitting him a sweater. So I really wanted to do this for him. He picked out the color and he picked out the pattern. We went through Ravelry together and took a look. It was so hard to track the pattern down. It's from an issue of like Rowan magazine from 2012, but I magically was able to find it in someone's stash on Ravelry. Totally random. There's no way I would have been able to find this in a yarn store or anything like that. And it was only in the magazine. I'm really glad I could make the sweater that my husband wanted. It's got these cute toggle buttons, just like something simple from the craft store. And the thing that makes this number 2 on my list of top 10 things I made this year is the fact that my husband wears this so much. Like every single Sunday to church. He wears it around the house all the time. He even wears it snuggling up in bed on his phone, playing games in like his pajamas. He is constantly wearing this and it just warms my heart every time I see him appreciating the gift that I made for him. The knitting process wasn't necessarily not good, but it was very long and a little bit tedious because there were so many other things to make and this took a while. All the pieces are knit separately and then seamed together. So it was just a process of a make. To see it put to such good use and to be so well loved by my husband just makes it all worth it. It makes me want to knit something else for him. I do not have anything in the works right now, but I might make him a hat with the leftover yarn of this. I might make him some fingerless mitts or something. I picked out some yarn for fingerless mitts at Rhinebeck that I hope to use for those eventually. We shall see. This yarn is Wool of the Andes worsted from Knitpicks / We Crochet in the color Delft Heather. And yeah, my husband helped me pick it out. He said he wanted a more rustic yarn, but also not super, super uncomfortable. And I feel like this fits the bill really, really well. But it is non-superwash, I'm pretty sure. So that makes it like a little bit nerve-wracking. Gotta take care of it. But yeah, so this is special. And if anything were to happen to this, I would literally cry. Like if it accidentally went in the washer or something and like shrunk, I would cry because it took a lot of work and my husband loves it so much that I love it so much, if that makes sense. Number 1, my top make of 2023. And this one, if you've watched my podcasts or other videos, you might not be surprised because you've probably seen this around in various videos of mine because I wear this all the time. This is the Ranunculus by Midori Hirose. Like even though this is not the perfect make, it is my favorite make this year and I have worn it so much. I made a short sleeve version. I modded the sleeves. I basically just, as soon as I picked up the stitches, I knit the ribbing on them because I was running out of yarn. This length is a smidge short on me because I was running out of yarn, and yet I still find ways to wear it. I'll wear like a shirt underneath it, so even if this lifts up because it's a little too short on my body, I don't like show my belly, which is just something that I personally don't want to do. So it helps keep me modest. I will wear anything underneath this. I wore it to Rhinebeck, to the actual Sheep and Wool Festival. I had so much fun knitting this yoke. So fun. I love it so much. It was just like a lot of really fun new textures for me. This yarn is Treehouse Knits in the color, I piggybacked from a pizza dough freezer from their Stranger Things collection, and it's a non-superwash merino DK weight yarn. I only got 2 skeins of it. This is how far 2 skeins got, so not as far as I would have loved, but now I know for sure. And it's just so beautiful. This like gray, oh man, there's some gunk on it. Some hay, probably from Rhinebeck. There's like gray, white, blues, all sorts of beautiful colors. I want to make this pattern again, and I wanted to make it just a little bit longer. Like this is so, like I love this pattern so much, and yet there's so much more that I want to do with it that I feel like future makes of the Ranunculus will be even better. And like, I can't imagine. I'm so excited to make more of these patterns because if I love this one this much, imagine if it fits me exactly how I want it to because I'm not playing yarn chicken. Imagine how great that'll feel. So excited. Those are my top 10 makes of 2023. And I just want to share like a little rapid fire, a couple honorable mentions that have not made this list that I still feel like are worth mentioning. First and foremost is the shark bite socks in the crochet version. You'll notice they look really similar to the knitted version. I tried to make them match exactly in appearance so that you could wear one sock of each as a pair, which is like a really fun idea. I just wanted there to not be any disconnect between what a knitter could make versus what a crocheter could make to get the look that they wanted. So I wanted them to be as identical in appearance as possible. The reason this is not on the top 10 is because this was a huge headache to make. I would not say that I'm like 100% happy with it. I'm like 95% of the way happy with it. But I also don't know if just inherently crochet is not going to get what I want out of it in a sock form. I don't know. It's something for me to think about, but quite the process, quite the headache. It was definitely a lot harder to design the crochet version and to make it fit, especially like to get on the heel and to do the mouth. And with the spiraling nature of crochet, there was just like a lot more issues in trying to get this pattern to work than the knit version. And I'm really proud of myself for all the work I did and for how far it came and for how good of a pattern it is, even though it was very stressful to try to design this pattern. Another honorable mention is the oat sweater by This Bird Knits. And you'll see I love this lace pattern. It's 3/4 length sleeve, which is my favorite because forearms are hot. The reason that this is not in my top 10 makes is because it's just a little bit too short. And I actually didn't even mark it off as an FO yet this year, technically. So that's like where I'm like, I think I have like 49, because technically I have 48 and then this makes 49. And technically it's finished. Like I wove in all the ends. I did all the knitting parts, but it's too short on me, so I want to add length, and that is one of my goals for December is to do the sweater surgery and to finish the sweater like for good. I love this beautiful like pale purple color. This is Bartok by Teeny Button, and I used the worsted weight because I didn't want another sweater with mohair. I wanted something different. I love this sweater, so fun, and I'm excited to wear it in the springtime. I think it'll be perfect, and I just need to like get it done so it's like done, not just done, but done, you know? This last honorable mention that I have, it's probably going to be an FO today or tomorrow, and so that's why it's not on the list, because I'm not done with it yet, though it totally would have displaced something from the list I just gave you because I love this make. And I've not made enough garments this year, and I really feel like I get a lot of satisfaction out of having a finished garment, and so maybe I should make more garments next year. This is the Maven top by Maven Handcrafted or Rachel Rainbow, and oh, I love this so much. I wish that the lighting was just a little bit better. I'm like trying to fight like these shadows going on right now as the sun is going down. But this top has this really nice little like pearl bump detail. It is a round yoke, and I honestly really love how this fits on me because I have a smaller bust, and so for some reason I feel like this pattern accentuates my bust, and so it doesn't make me look as small chested as I am. And I also like how it hangs in the back because it's a round yoke, and so there's the same amount of fabric in the back versus the front. And because I don't have a bust in the back, there's extra fabric there. And I just really like how it hangs. I feel like it looks really comfy and loose and flattering, like all of the good things. Everything you want in a tee. So I can wear this like year round maybe? That would be awesome. I am currently binding off. I'm doing a tubular bind off on the bottom, and it's just taking a while, but I'm like 2/3 of the way through the bind off, and then I need to weave in my ends, block it out again. I blocked most of it, like maybe up until here, and I need to reblock the last couple inches because I wanted to try it on. So I've been taking my time with this. My goal is to finish by the end of the month, and it is December 12th. We are halfway through Vlogmas, and I should not have a problem with that. This has been nice to work on like while I'm watching a little bit of YouTube or something, to just like work on the bind off a little bit, and then when I'm like I'm ready to be done, I can put it down. But I'm close enough to the end. I'll probably just like power through it tonight or tomorrow when I get a chance. But that's why it's not on the list, because it is not yet a finished object. Thank you so much for joining me on this little video where I got to share my 10 favorite makes of 2023. Let me know down below what your 10 favorite makes are, because I would love to get some good recommendations on things to make next year. I would love to hear if there are any patterns that you made multiple times because you love them that much. So connect with me down below and let me know if you've made any of these patterns that made it into my top 10 or into my honorable mentions, because they are all patterns that I highly recommend. Until next time, happy making and happy Vlogmas. Bye!